Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, live from Troy Buchanan High School as we prepare for your Francis Howell Vikings taking on the St. Dominic's Crusaders here at the Troy Buchanan tournament. I'm here. I'm Michael Harvey, along here with my partner Josh Robinson. Josh, we got ourselves a game on our hands today.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's a good Saturday for some basketball, especially for the third place title of the Troy Buchanan tournament. And we got a good one. Two teams, both equally matched, both 1-1. They lost. Well, also know Francis Howell lost to DeSmet, and St. Dominic lost to the home team, Troy, the Trojans. So I'm expecting to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a lot of talented players here on the court tonight. We saw Francis Howell, three specifically players that really took off the last game against the DeSmet Spartans, which we know that's a very difficult opponent. Couldn't quite sneak away with the win that night, but we did see some very big skill from these Francis Howell Vikings. What can you say about those?
I got to say, one person that caught my eye was Donovan Sparks. Donovan Sparks, even though he didn't get as much playing time in the first game against Hazelwood West, he showed out on why he should be part of the starting lineup against DeSmet. He had 15 points, and he was excellent on the rebound spot with 8 rebounds as well. I think down the season, I'm excited to see what this kid can do. I saw him at practice earlier. That he has a little bit of bounce, so he can get up there and dunk on somebody. So I'm excited to see what he can do.
He's definitely an athletic player. He's an explosive player. You know that he lives up to that last name. You got Donovan Sparks. He brings a spark onto the court. Absolutely. Now, what about over here with the St. Dominic Crusaders side? What have you seen kind of recently in these past couple games with the small sample size that we've had?
We also know number 44, Ryan Swindeman. He had the top rebounder of St. Dominic. He has about 14 rebounds and 2 steals, so he is great on the defensive side for the St. Dominic. He had 11 points last game against Troy, and you also have Roy Butler at the point guard position, who had 9 points, following behind Swinderman. So I'm excited to see what both these kids can do in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, kind of well-matched, two well-matched teams, fairly on the same skill level, so it's definitely going to have a lot of excitement in this game. As you mentioned, the third-place game for this Troy Buchanan tournament, so we got a lot of excitement in store for us, and we'll be right back with you after the national anthems here live from the Troy Buchanan High School. And we are back live here from Troy Buchanan High School as we prepare for your Francis Howell Vikings to take on the St. Dominic Crusaders. Francis Howell Vikings representing the home team today, as the St. Dominic Crusaders will be representing the guests. Here before tip-off, your starting lineups will be as St. Dominic will win that starting tip-off. And we are underway here live from Troy Buchanan High School for the third place game. Going over starting lineups, we have for St. Dominic, number 0, Jack Ropa, number 12, Trevor North, number 22, Matthew Willenbrink, and that's a shot from the perimeter, and that just misses as Francis Howell comes up with the rebound. And Jude James decides to take it up court. Off to Booker Simmons, and Simmons gets it or Jude James, and that's the launch from James, and that just misses as it looks like Schwindeman just comes up with the rebound there. You know, Schwindeman, that's one player to look at on today's game. He's an athletic kid going to SIUE for football as well, and he's, you know, you mentioned it kind of earlier, he's dominating under the basket as well. Yes. 2 6'5" players on the St. Dominic team as Willenbrink takes up the court. Willenbrink finds North at the perimeter. James gets a turnover ball. James takes up court, finds Simmons. Simmons takes the basket and decides to dish it off to Lomax. James to James. Gabe James. And that'll just get away from there as Booker Simmons can't come up with that there.
It seems that Francis Howell is starting a little bit sloppy on the offensive side of the ball. Can't seem to find anybody to pass it to and just turn the ball over.
Yeah, absolutely. Applying some pressure defensively. That offense just can't quite get going, which we have seen in these past first couple games. Willenbrink fakes a shot. That'll be Schwindeman just off the glass. Jude James to Simmons up court. Simmons has some. That'll be Sparks to James. Lomax takes a shot off the perimeter. And that's blood on the board. 3-0 Vikings. Lomax with an excellent shot there. And absolutely took a little bit of guts to take that shot as he had some pressure in his face there.
One thing about Lomax is he's not afraid to let it bang like that. He's not afraid to let it go.
Schwindeman does a good job drawing contact underneath the basket for a point, and he always go to the line. Like you said, Lomax, very confident shooter, and you know, we saw in that Hazelwood West game, he's kind of a pest out there, man. He defensively and offensively, he keeps going at you as Schwindeman goes to the line for his first attempt. That one is just off the rim there for his first one. That'll be Taj Gurley in for Donovan Sparks here. Early substitution for the Francis Howell Vikings. Schwindeman's second attempt is in. First points for Dominic comes from the second free throw, Schwindeman. Gabe James to Lomax in the backcourt. Booker Simmons takes time, finds Gabe James at the court. Gabe James, as we know, a very confident shooter as he's been making a lot of baskets from beyond the arc. Simmons to Jude. Taj Gurley does a good job getting the pass off to James. James from deep, and it's in! Another three-point shot from Gabe James. As mentioned, a very confident shooter that we've seen throughout this year already, early here in this season.
Man, so far it's been raining threes over here, Michael.
Trevor, that'll be Jack Ropa there, just off the rim there. Willenbrink. And Dominic Crusaders make their first sub, Ray Butler, and Jack Ropa on the arc. Schwindeman to Ropa. And Lomax applying that pressure. Vikings come up with the ball, and they look to go on the fast break here. Gabe James to the hoop. Dishes off to Taj Gurley. Dwight Lomax up for the shot. No good. Schwindeman with a big defensive rebound. Willenbrink up the court. Finds Schwindeman. Ray Butler first shot. And it's good. Butler coming off the bench, making some noise early here with the big three for the Dominic Crusaders. Much needed three as well. Gabe James gets the ball at the top of the arc. And Willenbrink applying some pressure to get that turnover. And that'll be a double dribble there on the Dominic Crusaders for a turnover.
So far for this game, it's been threes, turnovers, and just aggressive defense, especially on Francis Howell. Francis Howell, usually they would start off a little slow, but now they're picking it up for the first half for this
Yeah, you know, I think Hazelwood West kind of forced them to pick up that defense, you know, just right out the gate, first game of the season. Applied a lot of pressure offensively and had to be quicker. Gabe James from deep, all right off the front of the rim there as Ray Butler comes up. And they will call travel on that defensive rebound from Ray Butler. Trevor North back in here for Willenbrink. Dominic bringing in fresh legs right out the gate, you know, real quick, trying to keep Howell on their toes essentially, bringing in those fresh legs on left and right.
It feels like I've seen this before with college team in Greenville. They keep rotating in guys so they can have fresh legs and also confuse the defense and offense on the other
Absolutely.
squad.
Gabe James from to the perimeter, and that'll be stolen by Schwindeman there. Schwindeman, Butler finds North on the arc. North brings in the perimeter. Schwindeman, and he'll draw the contact right under the basket there. That'll be on the court. Team's third foul already, so early fouls for for Francis Howell here today.
See, that's one thing you can't do with your Francis Howell. That's the same problem that they had last time, was foul trouble, and usually it was a foul at least every 30 seconds of the game. They can't do this early, because if they do it early, then they're in trouble for the rest of the game.
It finds North on the inbound under the basket. North draws a contact on the shot, will be sent to the line. Yeah, you know, as you mentioned, you know, that Hazelwood West game, they kind of struggled with that foul and kind of let the score kind of get out of hand. Whenever they really capitalized was whenever those fouls kind of they limited the fouls, and Hazelwood West was able to let them get back in. North for the first attempt, and that is good for one. 1 of 1 from Trevor North here from the line. That'll be Willenbrink in for Jack Ropa. As well as Con Steed for the St. Dominic Crusaders. And the second one is in. 6-6 here. Quickly caught up here for the St. Dominic Crusaders, capitalizing on those free throws, and a couple big three-pointers made as well from them.
Man, both of these teams are spot on with their shooting. I think they probably practiced that in the gym before.
And he draws a foul, and one from Taj Gurley under the basket. An excellent look there from Kendall Gurley to Taj. Gotta love to see that connection, and Taj Gurley was able to capitalize those points and get the and one. Taj Gurley for his and one attempt. That one's up. And it gets a good kick for the Francis Howell Vikings, and that's in for an and one. 9-6, Vikings lead. What have you seen in Taj Gurley so far this year?
Taj Gurley, he has been a huge asset to this team. He plays his role, and he's also just athletic all around. Last game, he was a huge help against the Smet, and also a huge
And that's
help.
a steal from Booker Simmons. He takes it up on the fast break. He goes up for one, and it doesn't quite get the bounce. Kendall Gurley up for one, and that's a defensive rebound from Ray Butler. Butler to the basket. Butler does not get the bounce he's looking for, but that's a defensive rebound from the Vikings. Kendall Gurley on the defensive rebound. Vikings ball for the throw-in.
This is great defense by Francis Howell. They're just picking it up, and they're on fire for the first quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. Applying very active pressure, you know, not giving Dominic a whole lot of time to think about what their next play is going to be. So that's what you see in a lot of great defenses here.
And you see St. Dominic playing some aggressive defense as
James,
well.
And that's great defense there from Schwindeman. As you can tell, Schwindeman very, very big presence under the basket, kind of causing a lot of disruption there for the Howell Vikings offense.
Yeah, Schwindeman, he is hustling all over on the court right now.
Kendall Gurley on the inbound. Looks for James. He does a great job getting the ball. Lomax from deep. Lomax just off the front of the rim there. Taj Gurley gets the offensive rebound. Simmons to Lomax. Lomax takes his time to slow down the play. Simmons to Gurley. Gurley to Gurley. That'll draw the foul. St. Dominic's second team foul here on the day. It'll be a Francis Howell offensive throw-in.
Man, there's a lot of fouls for the first quarter.
Absolutely, coming in quick. You know, we're just 3 minutes to go in the first quarter, and we already have 6 fouls total on the game. 4 from Francis Howell, 2 from St. Dominic. Lomax at the top of the perimeter. Lomax to Gurley. Kendall Gurley very active on the football field as well with his handles in basketball. Lomax. Lomax does an excellent job kind of slowing the game down, being able to open some outlets for this Francis Howell offense.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Just reading the court and trying to find out who's open and who's not.
Very good point. Very good asset to have at point guard for the Francis Howell Vikings.
Big
Lomax
facts.
looks. That'll be a travel on Francis Howell Vikings here. Turnover violation, and North is in for the inbound.
That's one thing you can't do is travel and also just get ahead of yourself when the pressure's on you. If you're a Francis Howell, that's one thing he did was just, just got a little bit under pressure. The defense was on him, and he couldn't make a move.
Absolutely. Booker Simmons with excellent steal here. Gabe James on the fast break, and doesn't get the and one he's looking for. However, an acrobatic basket there from Gabe James. We saw a lot of acrobatic plays from him on the football field as well right there to get the basket.
Gabe James, he is just really athletic all over, especially in the three-point line. That's his bread and butter.
Absolutely.
The way he did that, he just handled that like a grown man.
Schwindem, Willenbrink there, and that's a out-of-bounds turnover there from the Dominic Crusaders. And you're absolutely right. I mean, Gabe James, he's an athletic freak on this team, man. He does it all. On the football field, he was active, he was mobile, had an arm on him as well. And like you said, he's making things happen on the court here.
Well, my old coach said he's an athlete with a capital F.
That's exactly right there. Jude James to Gabe James. Gabe James finds Lomax. Lomax on the perimeter. Booker Simmons to Gabe James. Finds Taj Gurley under the basket. And he gets a basket there. Manning it up there and getting the bounce for that he was looking for. Willenbrink to Schwindeman. Willenbrink at the top of the arc. Back to Schwindeman. Schwindeman up for three. Just off the rim and out. Gabe James with a big defensive rebound. Dwight Lomax taking it up. Finds Simmons on the arc. Simmons for three. Taj Gurley. A big 2 points and a 15-6 Vikings lead. Here's the offense we've been looking for.
One thing about this Francis Howell team is that they love to rebound and tip the ball back up. Booker Simmons, he is well known for that with a strong arm and just putting them back in. But now we see a whole bunch of other teammates on the Francis Howell team getting more involved in rebounds and putting the ball back up there. This is a great asset to have and a great tool to have in order to pull this game through.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw it in that first game against Hazelwood West. Booker Simmons, that one-arm putback from the offensive rebound was money. It was his bread and butter. And like you said, a lot of players they must have been working on some tip drills or something during practice because it's been working for them absolutely as Francis Howell leads 15-6 early, or 1 minute to go in the first quarter here. So what have you noticed from both teams? What can Dominic improve on if they want to kind of get this game back to a manageable score?
I think for Dominic, it's just thinking mentally, because I know Francis Howell, they're putting a whole lot of pressure on him on defense, and that's what's caused them to mess up and then cause turnovers and fouls and everything else. If they just keep straight, keep their heads on straight and make smart shots, then I think they'll be able to make it a good game. But Schwindeman, we all know the Schwindeman, he's an athlete, but I can see that the three-pointer is not in his bag, is what the young kids are saying right now. It's not in your bag. I'm not trying to be offensive, but I just stick to what you know and just go to the goal.
Absolutely. Gurley on Schwindeman as they get a little mix-up there, actually. And that's a big spin move there, knocking over Gabe James, however, doesn't get the drop he was looking for. Jude James at the top of the arc. Off to Gabe. Gabe to Lomax. Lomax, as we know, can find space with the ball. Simmons from deep. Simmons just off the front of the rim there. And Gabe James with another steal. Absolutely dominating on the defensive end to Lomax. And Lomax draws a foul and doesn't quite fall, but he will be sent to the line for two here. A great steal from Gabe James there, and an excellent pass finding Lomax under the defenders there.
It's just great teamwork all around. I think this Francis Howell team's finally got it together for this first half of the game.
Absolutely completing their first quarter very well here. Lomax first one. Gets the bounce and bounce off the front, back into the basket for one. 1 of 1 from the line here. Lomax for 2. And that one goes in, nothing but net. No clanking there. Ray Butler in for the inbounds pass and Wink Willenbrink. Willenbrink applying some, Vikings applying some pressure, get the turnover. Gurley to Simmons. Simmons under the basket, can't quite get over big Schwindeman, 6'5". Jude James goes up, gets a foul, and doesn't quite go in, however, be sent to the line for another 2. As you mentioned, these Vikings are doing an excellent job drawing that foul into the basket, getting sent to the line for an opportunity, and have been capitalizing a lot from the line here tonight.
I don't know too many coaches about basketball, but from what I'm seeing, whatever it takes to get points, just draw a foul and get to the hoop.
Absolutely. You got to think the more opportunities you have under the basket, the more opportunities you have to draw that foul, which is an excellent thing that these Vikings have been doing today so far in this first quarter. Jude James, 1 of 2 from that trip to the line as the Vikings look to bring in number 20, Corey McCauley for Jude James. McCauley, another athletic player these Vikings have on this team.
Jude James is an excellent defensive person.
Trevor North from deep to end the first quarter of much-needed points from the Dominic Crusaders. Trevor North from absolutely deep. Getting this score within 9 here, live from Troy Buchanan High School. We will take a quick break as we'll be right back here on Francis Howell Activities Network.
The score of any athletic event is generally forgotten over time, but the actions of players, coaches, and spectators leave lasting impressions. The next time you attend a high school game, think of how history will remember you. Choose good sportsmanship and help rekindle the spirit of citizenship. Remember, the lessons you teach today will help develop better citizens in our communities for tomorrow. This message has been brought to you by your friends at the Missouri State High School Activities Association and this local radio station.
And we are back here live from the Troy Buchanan tournament here at Troy Buchanan High School. Francis Howell Vikings have the lead 18-9 after a big made three-pointer from Trevor North. How about that deep action from Trevor North, huh?
Trevor North, he's always a good three-pointer from what we saw at Troy, against Troy. He's not that much of a talk or a big person, but he plays his role.
Definitely a valuable asset to have on the team as he applies some pressure to get the out-of-bounds throw-in for the Vikings here.
Just to get off top, just check out Coach, I forgot his name.
Agbo?
Coach Agbo's swag on the court, man, with the polo shirt and the
Lomax from deep, just off the rim there. Absolutely, we know Agbo brings some swag on the court for sure for these Vikings as they are matching it with their play today. 18 points in the first quarter. Schwindeman from up top to Ray Butler. Schwindeman on their basket, and that Schwindeman a big presence, and what a matchup that is. Taj Gurley on Schwindeman. Those are two big dudes right there. Jude James to Booker Simmons. Booker Simmons up for 2. Doesn't quite get it. Taj Gurley there for the rebound and draws the foul. Another thing Taj Gurley does so well, he's so active and he's always got that opportunity to draw that foul under the basket. A lot of times, especially in that Hazelwood West game, we saw him take a few trips to the basket and was able to knock them in. He started out slow, however, he started getting his rhythm and found it. Taj Gurley's first one right off the back there.
Yeah, Taj Gurley, he's a huge hustler all around for this Vikings team. He's just excellent all around, both offense and defense.
So he attempts to make a second one. That one's good for 2. 1 of 2 there from that trip from Gurley. So Francis Howell Vikings take a 19-11 lead here with 7 to go in the second quarter. Trevor North to Butler. Lomax on Butler. Schwinneman at top of the arc. Trevor North to the basket and gets the basket. Strong basket over Gabe James there for it to drop. 19-13, Francis Howell Vikings lead. Booker Simmons driving up the arc. And Gabe James, excellent job saving it from Jude James. Gabe James slows it down real quick. Taj Gurley under the basket, and he drops it in.
That was a great pass from James. Just seeing Gurley down in the paint and just able to just make the basket right there.
Yeah, well executed draw up play almost, Gabe James. And that's good from Willenbrink from 3. 21-16 Vikings lead. Willenbrink coming out and shooting today. Wyatt Lomax here at half court. Lomax takes on North. Lomax dishes off to Simmons. Simmons finds you, James. Simmons looks to cut into the basket. Lomax from deep. And it gets a kick. Are looking for 24-16. Big three-pointer from Lomax as that's his second one of the day. Shooting very well from the perimeter. And Lomax applying some pressure on Butler now. Butler drives to the basket. Gets it off the backboard and in. This is just back and forth at this point, Josh. We keep this up, this is going to be a high-scoring game.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. It's a shootout. It's raining threes and all over the place.
And Simmons, Gabe James avoids the pressure, gets it off to Simmons. Simmons slows it down out to Gabe James. Lomax. And he'll get called on travel there on Taj Gurley. Donovan Sparks in for Booker Simmons, as well as Damon Williams for Lomax. Willenbrink takes it up to Schwindeman. Ray Butler to Schwindeman in the paint. Sparks on Schwindeman, excellent battle, and he wins it. Gets it 2 points. Schwindeman strong under the basket as we bring in Sparks to kind of get a solution for it, but Schwindeman's very aggressive and very athletic. Ray Butler with the steal under the basket. The attempt to Taj Gurley. And that'll be a travel called there. He picked up his dribble, and they'll get him on the travel. And we look up at the score now, Josh. We got a 24-20 lead by the Vikings.
Most definitely. This is a really good game. This is a definite shootout for third place. And one thing about Schwindeman is that his size advantage just overpowers Francis Howell's defense.
Absolutely. Sparks takes it in. Sparks coming off a 15-point game to Gabe James from deep. And Gabe James points for the Vikings as a big answer from having a 4-point lead here at Troy Buchanan High School.
And that's something we've seen before, Michael. Gabe James, he always brings a strap with him and always attempts to shoot threes all around. That's his bread and butter right there.
Absolutely. He's confident. He wants that shot. He's always looking for it. He's got the confidence going into the shot, and that's half the battle. Once you start shelling up with that three-pointer, you get a little gun shy, as they say. Then it kind of doesn't drop as much as you like. However, if you do have that confidence, they're dropping, like you said, bread and butter for Gabe James there. Damian Williams off to Sparks. Sparks to James. Corey McCauley gets it inside the arc. Jude James looks to cut to the basket, and a strong there with a shifty move to shake him at the free throw line and drive him to the basket. 29-20 lead for the Vikings.
Seen that Gabe James, he just creeped through that window and just peeked over there just to sneak in. And
he doesn't need much, just a quick move in that small window, and he'll cut it. Donovan Sparks with a nut quick, has he? And drops for 2. Next thing you know, it's an 11-point lead for the Vikings, 31-20 here as the St. Dominic Crusaders take a probably well-taken timeout after they start seeing a little bit of a run from Francis Howell Vikings there.
Yeah, and especially that was a great basket by Donovan Sparks. I've seen that before. That's his main go-to, which is the fadeaway J, the hezzy and the J. he uses his height to advantage to use that and just shoot mid-range all around. Great athletic kid.
Well, he just has such a large wingspan, man. I mean, you see his arms. He's just so lengthy, and you know, if you can sell that hezzy, you're going to get him going pretty far. And you saw it right there, had him falling for it, and then you know that's half the battle. Then if you knock down the shot, that's an excellent play, as we just saw from Sparks there. Dominic looks to inbound it. That'll be number 34, Tyler Rudebush. To Willenbrink. Willenbrink driving up the court to Schwindeman. To Butler. I'll get McCauley on a little bit of a little too aggressive there under the basket on the foul. 5 team fouls for the Ferentz Howell Vikings as well as the Crusaders. As this is whenever you kind of start to see teams get a little cautious with their fouls. You know, you're at 5 fouls, 2 to give. Gabe James with a steal. Quick break. They got numbers. Off to Sparks and just throws it behind him as couldn't quite connect on that pass, but an excellent steal from James.
I think they were just moving too fast on that play. They got a little too trigger happy and then caused a turnover.
Yeah, I think James saw some numbers and, like you said, got a little bit anxious there and just kind of forced the pass there. Jack Ropa takes it up court for the Vikings, or Crusaders. Ray Butler, Schwindeman. And Butler with another travel call. It's about his 3rd travel call today. Can't quite figure it out. They're catching him on something as they bring in Trevor North here as a solution for now.
I think what Francis Howell's doing, they're just bringing that pressure on defense, and that's what's making them travel.
Absolutely. You know, you kind of get shooken up a little bit. Sparks up court to Drew James. Drew James to McCauley under the basket, and that's good for 2.
That was a great cherry pick.
Absolutely. They don't draw him up easier than that there, Josh. Schwindeman over McCauley and draws the contact under the basket, getting sent to the line for 2.
It was just great defense all around by McCauley by making a cherry pick shot, or a cherry pick layup, excuse me, and then also just causing the foul and preventing the team from scoring.
Absolutely. Very athletic player McCauley is. Schwindeman's first attempt is no good there. As we've seen McCauley put together quite the highlight reel from last year on JV. You know, he can dunk, and we all know how athletic he is, and a very active player as he draws a 2nd foul there under the basket. However, like you said, prevented a basket. And that 2nd one is up and good for the Dominic Crusaders. 33-22 lead for the Vikings. Sparks to Simmons. Simmons to Liner. McCauley at the base. Liner to Simmons. Simmons from deep. Doesn't get the bounce, but Sparks is there for the defensive rebound and the reverse. Just couldn't quite drop as Schwindeman with a big board under the basket. Schwindeman to Willenbrink. Willenbrink all the way up court to Jack Ropa to North. North for 3, and it's in. As we mentioned earlier, was it a strap? That's what Trevor North is bringing to the court right there. That's his 3rd three-pointer today, and it's something but net. He's got a confident shot.
Wow.
That'll be an offensive foul on Simmons there.
St. Dominic basically just told Trevor to get the strap and also just draw the charge because they're playing smart right now.
Absolutely.
I feel like St. Dominic's finally woke up.
You know, they a couple timeouts that later, and sometimes that's all you need to wake up there. North at back court here. North driving it up the court to Willenbrink. Willenbrink to Steed. Schwindeman under the basket. Draws a foul and does not get the basket there. However, they're getting those opportunities, and like you said, the more opportunities you create, the more likely you are to get sent to the line. Schwindeman, as we saw in his last attempt at the line, 1 for 2. So he gets 2 additional free throws here. Schwindeman's first attempt is up, and that is good. Francis Howell makes a sub. Gabe James for McCauley here. Schwindeman's second attempt is up. And good. 2 of 2 from the line there. Starting to get that free throw shot down. All it takes is a couple trips. Lomax, a wide pass to Liner. Back to Lomax. Kind of switching courts left and right here. Drew James in the perimeter to Sparks. Sparks with an aggressive basket, and Schwindeman comes in out of nowhere. It's a big boy to avoid there, you know. Schwindeman at the top of the arc to Ropa. Into Schwindeman, and that'll go out of bounds there for Vikings throw-in.
Man, that was great aggressive defense by the Vikings right there. It's causing the turnover and to move the ball out of bounds.
Yeah, to disrupt the, kind of play being built up like that, it looked like they were getting something generated. And once you disrupt it, all it takes is a little bit, and that's what they did, and was able to draw a throw-in for the Vikings. Taj Gurley creates some space under the basket off of Sneed for 2. 35-26 Vikings. Willenbrink to Steed. Steed looks up for 3, does not like it. Off to Schwindeman. Gabe James with another steal over Schwindeman. Falls on it.
Man, they are playing hard-nosed, aggressive defense right now.
Absolutely. I can tell you right now, this Dominic's a team that won't go away. Whether it's 10 points, 9 points, they're always going to kind of cut it and kind of get you worried. So that's something. And Drew James with an excellent block over Winkelman.
Now they're playing a little sloppy.
Willenbrink up the court. Willenbrink for 2, does not drop. And Drew James with a defensive rebound to Gabe. Gabe can't quite handle it. However, he keeps it in bounds. An athletic play to Jonathan Sparks for the basket. This team's athleticism all over the court. That's the one thing that saved that play from happening right there. Gabe James with the speed and the wheels that we see on the football field and able to save it from going out of bounds to Donovan Sparks. Willenbrink, and it's good for 3. A big three-pointed, much-needed points from the Dominic Crusaders here as Drew James gets the inbound pass to Sparks. Sparks, as you can imagine, the Vikings looking to take as much time off the court, especially after a big three-point made there by Willenbrink.
Yeah, I think they're going to take this to half.
Gabe James for 3. Ooh. Does not get the bounce. That's Schwindeman rebound, and he goes for a half-court shot, and it just misses. What a half from the Francis Howell Vikings as they take the lead 37-29. Josh, we saw a lot of active players out there. What's one that you got to commend the most here going into the half?
You got to give it to Taj Gurley. His hustle is unmatched right now. He's been posted up at the basket, just waiting there, just camping out, like they say on Call of Duty or whatever kids play today, or Fortnite, whatever. Just have him camped out and was able to get the cherry pick. But overall, this Francis Howell's team is just balanced overall. They have playing aggressive defense right now. They're also just playing smart on offense, able to find the person that's next to the basket and able to get to him so they can score the points, and also able to draw fouls. So, and then they're also just messing up with St. Dominic's mental right now. So that's a good thing to have going into the
like you
half.
said, you got a lot of valuable assets on that court, whether it's chemistry, whether it's hard work, whether it's athleticism. You have it on this court. The Vikings are capable of it. They're showing it off right now. And as you mentioned, Taj Gurley, that guy's the definition of this team. He puts his heart on that field. We saw him take a shot in the face in game 1 and kind of wiped it off. And now you see him, just causing all kinds of havoc under the basket, defensively. Kind of the definition of the team, laying it all out there for the team. What did you see that Dominic could potentially kind of, we've mentioned how active this Francis Howell defense has been. What does Dominic have to do to kind of avoid that?
Well, St. Dominic, they're doing all the things right. They're playing fire with fire, especially on defense. I think both teams are both putting pressure on each other, especially with the full court press. But I think one thing is just the mental, because they're making a whole lot of mental mistakes. And just when they get pressured by Francis Howell, that means they're causing them to mess up. And just basically use their height to their advantage, because they have at least a whole bunch of people that are at least over 6 foot. Especially Schwindeman. Schwindeman's the tallest person on the team so far. But
2 guys that are 6'5", so you got to use that to your advantage. I mean, our tallest guy out there right now is 6'4". So you got two guys that are 6'5". That means you're out heighting them somewhere on the court. So, you got to use that to your advantage. I don't know about you, but I can see the Dominic Crusaders kind of going more towards a three-point aspect going into this half.
I was about to say that, yep.
I mean, we saw a lot of success and a success rate there. If it's open, they got shooters on the court, so utilize it. Excellent first half here live from the Troy Buchanan High School and the Troy Buchanan Tournament here for the third-place game. We'll be right back. I'm Michael Harvey with my partner Joshua Robinson, live from Francis Howell Activities Network. We'll be right back.
Whether it's balls and strikes, fouls, or flags, your referees and game officials are a vital part of high school athletics. If you've ever tried your hand at officiating, you know how hard these men and women work, and you certainly know that they would never miss a call intentionally. Keep these things in mind as you attend sporting events. After all, respecting officials and authority figures is one of the most valuable lessons that we could teach our students. This message has been brought to you by your friends at this local radio station and the Missouri State High School Activities Association.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a barn burner of a third-place title game we got going here at the Troy Buchanan High School. France Howell Vikings lead 37-29 as Vikings start out with the ball. Lomax on the left wing, on the wing. Sparks in some trouble. Gets a pass off to Simmons. Simmons to James. Lomax. Simmons drives to the basket, and that's in. Simmons, a big confidence bucket there to start out the half, huh?
Yeah, Simmons, it feels like he's got his groove back for the second half so far. I think it's too early to say that, but I can feel it.
Absolutely. You know, that's one of those ones you need. All you need is that one basket to drop, get it early in the second half, and you get your game back, hopefully, for Simmons here, as he struggled a little bit in the first half. Schwindeman at the top of the arc. That's off the rim there. That's going out of bounds for a Vikings ball.
Now it seems that Francis,
that'll actually be
putting on the pressure early.
That'll be a foul for the Vikings or Crusaders there. So it'll be a Vikings throw-in. James switches courts. Simmons to Lomax. James to Lomax at half court. That'll be a foul drawn by Lomax at half court on Jack Ropa there. Second team foul early here for the Crusaders.
And it seemed like Trevor North was trying to, chip him up a little bit.
Gabe James to Lomax. Lomax, I will notice, that guy is all over the court at all times of the game.
Oh, yeah, Lomax was a great hustler, just like Tyus Gurley.
Booker Simmons, Sparks under the basket. North does a good job forcing a turnover there, out of bounds pass for the Vikings Crusaders ball.
That was kind of a questionable pass by Booker Simmons. It could have just, bounced past it to him.
Forcing it a little bit there as North was applying some good pressure on Gabe James under the basket, or Donovan Sparks under the basket there. Willenbrink to Schwindeman. To North at top of the arc. North drives to the basket. And he finds a smooth shot. Does an excellent job breaking away from Donovan Sparks with a smooth shot going in like butter.
That was a nice little fadeaway.
Jude James to Gabe. Gabe from the perimeter. Off the front of the rim there. Schwindeman, another big man board there under the basket. Willenbrink to North. North open on the wing. And it's good. North is finding nothing but net on these shots here. They got to do something. You can't have them open on the wing on the perimeter there. Lomax, that first shot is off the back. Sparks there with an athletic rebound and putback.
That was a nice little flop by North right there. See that North, he's been hot ever since the first half. He probably hasn't had his heat check yet. I think this is a heat check right now.
Absolutely. His brother Jared North was a fellow Dominic Crusader. He used to play on there, so basketball is in the bloodline for sure here at St. Dominic for the Norths. Schwindeman with a good turn. And an excellent turn by Schwindeman, creating some space and finding that basket, drawing the contact.
Schwindeman, he's using his height to his advantage and was just able to big move the defense for Francis Howell.
Schwindeman's first attempt. That's up and it's good. Jude James. Now you blink and Crusaders only lead by 4. As mentioned before, this team is a team that's not going to go away no matter what the scoreboard is. Lomax from deep, and he gets a roll. Big three-point shot from Lomax.
Hey, Lomax, he's got a heat check too. He's been shooting threes all game.
Absolutely. He likes his shot for sure. Jack Rowe put a great pass to Schwindeman, and he just doesn't get the roll there. Sparks slows it down for the Vikings here. Simmons to James to Sparks. Lomax at the top. Simmons drives into the basket. Looks like there's a court malfunction there as a outlet cap falls off here.
Oh, man. Well, we've been here before, especially on the Hazelwood West game when the scoreboard was all jacked up and a whole lot of stuff that was going on. Pretty questionable, if you ask me.
Lomax from deep. And draw the pushing foul there from. And that'll be on North. There's second foul on North. Third team foul this half here with 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Simmons with the inbound pass. Simmons to James, just gets it over the head of North there. And that's a little forced pass by Jude James. You're kind of seeing those a little bit here in the second half.
Yeah, so many careless errors by the Francis Howell offense. It's just been turnover after turnover, trying to make accurate passes. All you have to do is just gently pass it to your teammate.
Yeah, once you start forcing things, that's whenever your opposing team can capitalize for sure. Schwindeman in North. North drives to the basket off the backboard, does not quite go in. And that's an offensive rebound, however, the putback does not drop in for the Crusaders. Simmons to James. James to Lomax. Lomax to Gabe. And that'll be a turnover on Gabe James here as we got numbers. And that's a big pass from North to Willingbrink. And Willingbrink does an excellent job staying composed for that basket there.
Man, this is just 3 bad passes in a row by Francis Howell.
Yeah, they definitely kind of losing rhythm here in this start to the second half here for the Vikings.
I don't know if they're trying to force passes or they're trying to just, try to make something happen. Like, all you have to do is just play your game and then you'll be all right.
Simmons' first one is in, up and good. Big opportunity for Simmons to kind of get some of that confidence back here.
Oh, yes, most definitely after a pretty shaky first half that he had.
1 of 1 from the line, goes for 2. That one drops in for a second. 2 of 2 from the line there from Simmons. 46-39 here from Troy Buchanan High School. Grand South Vikings lead 46-39 over the Crusaders. Schwindeman and Winkleman. And that's in for deep. Willenbrink with the big bucket there for Willenbrink and the Crusaders to get back into this game.
Man, Willenbrink and North, they're just bold from the three-point line. They basically just said they'll shoot it from anywhere. Just point to the floor and they'll just let it fly.
And Howell does a good job getting a timeout there as Lomax was about flirting with the little half-court violation there. holding it a little too long.
And that was a great call by the coach right there, Coach Ag.
Absolutely. Saved him a costly turnover as the Crusaders, we blink, like I said, and they're down, trail by 4. Vikings have held the lead here this whole game. However, the Crusaders have cut it within 4 a few times here now. So, what have you noticed here in those turns where the Crusaders kind of get back into this game?
I noticed at St. Dominic, they're playing with lights out right now. They're playing lights out defense all around and just causing Francis Howell to make careless turnovers. I feel like St. Dominic, they're playing like how they usually play or how they should play, and they're just using their three-point shooters in advantage.
Absolutely. We mentioned it going into second half. We see it a little bit more, and that's really what's working for them. If it's not broke, don't fix it, Simmons takes on North. Lomax to Simmons. Simmons to James. Tough angle shot there as that one doesn't drop here. Willenbrink takes the ball up court. Willenbrink to Schwindeman. Schwindeman with that same turn we see, creating space, and that'll take him to the line. Couldn't quite get the shot off the rim there. However, that's sending him to the line, and we've seen him utilize that turn, that spin move all day, and it seems to be working from him.
Yeah, Schwindeman, he's just, like I said before, he's just using this size and just able to use his strength as well, just carry it to the hoop.
As mentioned earlier in the pregame here, Schwindeman heading to SIUE for tight end, actually, so he knows how to utilize his body, and that's a prime example of how he can pull that ball off or move off and utilize his body like that.
We all know tight ends, they're basically like old linemen.
Except mobile, and that's always a scary thing there.
Yeah.
Both free throws good from Schwindeman as he cuts the lead within 2. Gabe James, Booker Simmons. Booker Simmons with some sloppy handles there, and that'll be a Crusaders jump ball.
Man, Francis Howell, they are playing real sloppy on offense now. Seems like the roles have been changed from the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't really got that feel to them that they did in that first half. That first half was a well put together first half from the Vikings defensively and offensively. They're looking a little sluggish here to start the second half. Willenbrink to Schwindeman. Schwindeman to North, wide open on the perimeter, and he draws a foul there. 14th foul from the Vikings on Lomax.
Man,
Lomax is first. I was surprised North didn't go up with that. He had a pretty wide open look. Lomax was pinching in, kind of gave him a little bit of less time. However, Schwindeman's layup does not go in there. Gets an unfortunate bounce off the rim. Jude James on the fast break, and one under the basket. A much-needed and-one opportunity from the Francis Howell Vikings here.
that was a great way to go in strong to the basket right there by Jude James. Not only he's a tremendous defensive player, but he could also shine a little bit on offense.
I will say, for the most part, though, with Jude James standards, kind of a quiet day. We haven't seen too much activity from him defensively. A couple plays in the first half, and he just misses that free throw opportunity there for the and one.
Yeah, Jude James, he is a star on defense. He was a star on defense last.
North from 3, and it is in. 48-47. We got a 1-point game on our hands, Joshua Robinson.
Oh, man. I remember it was down by at least 10 the first half.
All right, Schwindeman applying some pressure, creating a little out-of-bounds throw in for the Vikings. You got to think Coach Agbo's got to consider a timeout to get something going for this Vikings team. This is a lot different Vikings team than we saw in the first half here. Lomax to Simmons. Simmons to Gurley. Gurley to Taj. To Jude under the basket, and it's it from Jude James there. So you get him active, I tell you what, this game's going to turn around real quick. Kendall Gurley, Winkleman with an excellent spin move, and they get him on the offensive foul there. Willenbrink with just a little too much there, man. An excellent move to shake the defender. Just a little too much and got a little too much contact on offense. Gurley to Booker Simmons. Jude James takes the ball up court, finds Lomax. Lomax, as we know, travels all around the court. Jude James drive to the basket, finds Kendall Gurley outside. Taj Gurley to Lomax. Booker Simmons to Jude James. Jude James finds Taj, wide open Taj under the basket. He gets a bucket there for an easy layup there.
Man, they are able to find each other under the basket plenty of times. This has been what they've been doing in the first half.
Absolutely. Once you start moving the ball, this Vikings team's a whole different ballgame. Kendall Gurley applying some pressure, and he draws a foul as Gurley visibly disappointed with that call, as it looked like an excellent defensive play.
In my eyes, it was a defensive play. It was a great one because North, he did not know what to do with the ball at all.
So they bring in Jack Ropa here for Willenbrink. A well-taken substitution there as Jack Ropa brings a lot to the court. You know, a great fill-in for Willenbrink, who's been a very active leader here for this St. Dominic Crusaders team. Schwindeman on the ball. Schwindeman to Ropa. Ropa gets swatted by Kendall Gurley. Kendall Gurley with the steal. Goes up for layup and doesn't quite get in. That's Vikings ball off of a Dominic Crusader.
Man, that was a great steal by Gurley right there. And also a great way to take the hoop, take it to the hoop and draw the foul. But it was also great defense on Dominic's part as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great strand of events. And that's a block by Ray Butler on the throw-in. Kendall Gurley, James. Simmons goes up for two. Doesn't quite get Jude James with a big rebound. And that's about Jude James with another defensive rebound. If you get the ball 4 times, you deserve to score. Or if you give it up 4 times in a row, you kind of deserve to get scored on. You know, you got to get a defensive rebound there if you're the St. Dominic Crusaders in a game like this.
Exactly. It's the old wives' tale, 3rd time's a charm.
Simmons gets blocked by Ropa. Jude James shot's no good. And that'll do it for our third quarter. How about that for a quarter, Josh?
Oh, man, it was crazy all around. Both teams were going back and forth. Like St. Dominic, we saw a spark by St. Dominic in the middle of the 3rd quarter with North and Willenbrink just shooting threes back to back. Like you said, like St. Dominic, they're bringing their straps with them and just firing off on the 3-point line. And causing Francis Howell to think a little bit like, what are we going to do? And
yeah, you know, it's hard to respond, you know, because you get in that predicament. You start seeing the lead kind of get smaller and smaller. Whenever they keep responding with threes, you got to adjust your game plan. You know, you don't know whether to go back with the answer with the 3. But I'm telling you right now, it doesn't look like Francis Howell has too many shooters that can answer with the 3 right now.
And we don't have any big men as well. We only have one 6'4", and that's only Donovan Sparks.
Yeah, Donovan Sparks and Jude James both kind of at that 6'4" level. And when you got 2 6'5" guys on St. Dominic, that's a hard way to respond as well. We got a 5-point lead here from the Francis Howell Vikings over the St. Dominic Crusaders, and a smaller lead than we've seen the whole first half. So we'll see what happens here as we look to go bring it into the 4th quarter. Vikings start with the ball. An excellent game here at Troy Buchanan High School as the Francis Howell Vikings lead St. Dominic Crusaders. Kendall Gurley with the toss into Simmons. Simmons to Jude, and that'll be a foul on the offense there. Or that'll be on the defense, actually. That'll be on Steed, the 17th foul, sending the Vikings to the bonus already.
Man, a bonus already hasn't been a minute into the 4th quarter yet.
Absolutely. So that could be a game changer here for the Vikings, you know. It's a good opportunity. However, Vikings have to watch their back as well. They got 5 on them, so that could change quickly, and we could see another high-scoring game from the Vikings. Jude James, 2 for 2 from the free throw line. Jack Ropa takes time. Gurley applies the pressure, quick pressure, and that'll be over.
Man, Gurley, he's getting fired up right now. He's saying he can't do nothing to him, and he did exactly like that, nothing.
Yeah, a holding foul on Ropa there for possession turnover, and like you said, the Vikings got fired up over that one. You know, they got to get this game going. They've been leading a whole game, so they want to keep they don't want to change that. And there's some intensity out there in this game, which you gotta love in high school sports. It's just a competitive atmosphere, and you know, keeping it all a little heated right now.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Simmons to Pearson to Gurley. Gurley on the perimeter to Simmons. Simmons to Jude. Gurley from 3. Doesn't quite get the bounce, and that'll be a Dominic ball with a big defensive rebound. North takes on Pearson. Butler to Schwindeman. Schwindeman to Willenbrink. Schwindeman under the basket. Double team there.
And I tell you about this multitasking stuff, Michael. Working the camera and trying to look at the game at the same time and trying to broadcast. It's kind of a hassle, but you know, it is what it is.
Willenbrink with the inbound pass to Schwindeman. That's a steal. Schwindeman does a great job getting that that inbound pass from Jude James, almost stolen quick. However, Jude James gets a rebound. And he gets a drop for Jalen Pearson. Another athlete we've seen on that was Gurley, my apologies. Willenbrink at half court. And they'll get Gurley on the push, sending the Crusaders to the line here with the bonus. 7 to 17 fouls here in the second half. Quickly to get to that one, huh, Josh?
Yeah, the fact that we're in the bonus already, and it hasn't even been at least like 2 minutes left in the game. It's just crazy to me.
Absolutely.
It's just aggressive defense all around.
Willenbrink first one is up and good. A little help from the backboard there. Willenbrink's 1 of 1 from this trip on the free throw line. Free throw number 2, up and good for Willenbrink. Simmons to James. James and Simmons eating up minutes today in today's game.
Oh, yeah.
Have hardly left the court. James to Simmons.
And plus, these are the 2 players that Agbo trusts.
Absolutely. Gabe James from deep. That's in. That's his, as we say it, bread and butter right there. 3-pointer from Gabe James. Nothing but net. And the Dominic throw in here as they trail by 10 points. However, we know how quickly they can change that score. Willenbrink with the hezzy. To Vanori.
I'm agree with the fans right here, Michael. I think that was a travel because he took a little bit over 2 steps. He was trying to make the basket.
Yeah, and you know, Vanori kind of had that look on his face as well, saying, I might have got away with it. But, you know, as a player, you can't do anything about that one. You just go to the line and keep your mouth shut there.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. You don't want to give this game away.
That one would be no good for the first attempt. Luke Van Naarde. Second attempt is up, and it's good. Cutting the lead down to 9. 59-50, Vikings lead, Crusaders. Set James on the ball to Jude. Jude looking like he was going to set up the pick, however, got to receive the pass. Jude back to Gabe James. Gabe James, or Kendall Gurley to Gabe James. Creating space, traveling all over the court. Gabe James takes on North to the basket, and that's in. Gabe James taking over in this fourth quarter early.
seems that Gabe James is trying to have a heat check right now. The great athletic layup right there, trying to spiral it up and just put it in.
Willenbrink from 3. Just off the front of the rim there. Doesn't get the roll. Defensive rebound by Gabe James all over the court, doing it defensively and offensively. Booker Simmons to Jude. Jude to Taj Gurley off his foot. Turnover there. Crusader ball, 61-50. That's a timeout taken by the Dominic Crusaders. 30-second timeout. Now we're starting to see the Vikings get back onto that little train there. They're a very momentum team. What's kind of turning it on for the Vikings right now?
I'll say fourth quarter living, because when it comes down to the fourth quarter, then that means everybody gets on, and then now they're playing smart enough on trying to put this game away and just finding people at the basket, and also just playing aggressive defense by Kendall Gurley. For the most part, he's just been playing lockdown defense and causing the St. Dominic offense to just turn over the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that is the one thing that their defense has been a huge presence in this fourth quarter, which we didn't see too much of the third quarter. In the third quarter, we saw Dominic executing every offense opportunity they had, which was a huge part of this game. You know, dropping those threes. However, Vikings defense really stepping up right now, and Gabe James really stepping up on the offensive side, because you need both, absolutely. So he's covering on that, and everybody playing their part defensively, which is really good to see for the Vikings. However, as we mentioned, these Crusaders will not go away. You know, no matter what the score deficit is, they change that score real quick.
Yeah, you can see from the score, because right now the Trojans, the Crusaders, they're creeping up on the Vikings slowly in this fourth quarter.
First one is up and good from Willenbrink. Second one is also up. 2 points for the Dominic Crusaders. Much needed 2 points as that cuts the lead within 9. Sparks up to Sparks takes it himself. Doesn't get the bounce, and that's a big board from Van Noorda to Butler. To Schwindeman as he looks for 3, and that big man with the strap, right?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. It seems like everybody from St. Dominic is strapped up.
Kendall Gurley with the big basket, and he will draw that foul from the Crusaders, as looks like there'll be some discussion as to what the call is on the court.
It seems that his nose is bleeding right now. Gurley hit him in his nose.
Yeah, it looked like Kendall was kind of lost his footing as he was going back there for the block.
Yeah, Gurley, he's been playing a little too overly aggressive on defense. They called at least 3 good personal fouls on him, especially to start off the fourth quarter.
Absolutely.
That changed the game for St. Dominic when they went to take 2 free throws over there.
Absolutely, 100%. You know, I mean, too aggressive isn't always a bad thing. However, once you start flirting with that foul trouble, then you kind of start putting your team in a little bit of jeopardy. As France Howell Vikings with 9 fouls already in the second half. So, you know, it definitely puts them in some foul trouble. However, Kendall Gurley has been an excellent presence on the defensive side of the ball, as you mentioned. Schwindeman with the inbound pass to North. North takes it up to Schwindeman. Schwindeman feeling his shot right now, as that one just hits off the back of the rim there. It's Booker Simmons with a big defensive rebound. Simmons to Lomax. Eight-point lead from the Vikings here. 3 minutes to go. Essentially 4 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. Lomax takes on North. And they get him for a foul. Not a whole lot of contact there, however, he did draw it a little bit. They'll book North for his third personal there. Well, Mac's first one is good. Extending their lead to 9. Mac's second one up and good. Extending their lead to 10. Getting within that double-digit lead again. Crusaders look to respond here, and they need some big points in this possession. Swing them into Butler. Butler drives to the basket. That's in for Butler. Has been held fairly quiet. He came in and was off to a hot start. They've kind of found a solution. This is how Vikings defense has. However, couldn't find one on that drive to the basket from Butler.
Oh, yeah, Butler, he's just a huge asset to the St. Dominic's team as well. Like you said before, he's silent, but he can make a couple of points as well. It seems like it's a whole lot of collisions and stuff on the basketball court. Everybody's trying to get injured.
Absolutely, some aggressive play here from both sides on the court here.
I don't know if it's safe to say, but I got to say that I like this. This is overly aggressive, and I really like this. This is competitive.
Yeah, you know, it's a perfect amount of aggressiveness. You know, you see some where they're just unnecessary that you need, but this is just a hard-fought game with an intense game, and you can see them kind of going back and forth with each other on the court, which is always, you know, good to see in that competitive aspect as long as you keep it in line, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Gabe James' first attempt was up and good. Second attempt, up and good. Gets the roll off the basket here. Jack Roper receives the inbound Jason Bland turnover here. Gabe James draws a contact on the basket. Didn't look like a whole lot there. However, they got it, sending the Vikings to the line.
Oh, yeah, that was a great steal by Jude James.
Excellent. Excellent steal by Gabe James there, you know. That's one thing he is. He's just very active, and he wants his presence to be known on the court. And it's kind of hard to find a solution for him, as most of the defense that we've seen so far has been struggling finding that solution. So Crusaders look to bring in Jack Ropa and Willenbrink here. First one is up and no good. Actually, elected just bring in Willenbrink.
And the key thing for this fourth quarter is to always make your free throws as well, because free throws count, especially in a game like this.
It's Gabe James goes for his second one. Gabe James has been fairly automatic from free throw pointing right now. Missed the first one, however, past couple attempts. That one's nothing but net there. Trevor North looks to take the ball up court. Sparks pinches in on him, however, just off the Butler. Schwinneman from 3. Just off the back of the rim there. Much needed three-pointer from the Crusaders here as they trail by 11. Simmons to James. James to James for 3. Matching the number on his jersey and everything. Gabe James bringing the shooting to the court today.
And that's something we've seen before, Michael. He always brings the shooting to the court at all times.
Absolutely. And one thing to be commended for is his vision for the shot as well. You know, you see a lot of players take the shot, and you can tell that they're not seeing it really. However, every time he looks for that shot, he's got his eye on the basket, and he knows where it's going for sure.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Right. Crusaders into the line. First one's up, and that is good. Willenbrink checks in for the Crusaders. That second one is up off the back of the rim. Jude James with a big boy board there. Gabe James kind of You can imagine the Vikings are going to look to eat some time off the clock here.
Oh, yeah.
It's Gabe James. Shoot. Gets the ball there. Lomax up and in. Big board around Schwindeman. It's amazing how he can kind of glide through that defense, you know. He kind of cuts through them. He's moving all the time, so I'm sure he's got some practice at it.
Oh, yeah. Lomax, he was great. Great way to maneuver all around.
And Schwindeman up for 2. As that'll cut their lead to 13 here. 1:44 to go in the fourth quarter here at Troy Buchanan High School. We will take a quick break as we look to close this fourth quarter out as the Vikings lead your St. Dominic Crusaders 73-60 here live from Troy Buchanan High School. We're back live here from Troy Buchanan High School as your Francis Howell Vikings lead the St. Dominic Crusaders 73-60 with 1:44 to go remaining here in the third place game in the Troy Buchanan tournament.
Oh, man. Hopefully Francis Howell, they could steal away with the third place trophy right now.
Absolutely. Nothing wrong with a little bit of silverware earlier in the season. You know, took a tough loss to this Met, but this is a great bounce-back game, and hopefully they can close it out here with the 1:40 remaining. Simmons to Gabe. Simmons likes to hold it. Lomax to Gabe James. Gabe James to Booker. Finds Sparks across the court.
I was wondering when we were going to find Sparks. Sparks was wide open.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know. He was calling for the ball all day. He still is. As Simmons looks at Gabe James. That'll be a foul on the Crusaders as they'll send Gabe James to the line again. An excellent effort from both teams here, though, today, I must say. I mean, really strong effort from the Dominic Crusaders. Was really keeping with them up until about 4 to go. And Vikings started finding their rhythm as that one's up and just missed by Gabe James here. 73-60 lead, but, you know, an excellent effort by both teams for sure.
Yeah, both teams, they were playing hard all the game, the whole 4 quarters. And it's just Francis Howell, they were able to be the better team today.
There's a 0 for 2 attempt there from Gabe James, and that's a bucket from Willenbrink here. And we've seen this before, Josh Robinson. You never know when that three's coming. Schwindeman with a big boy block, however, it looks like they'll get a foul called on him there.
Imagine if he made that, then that would have been 10 times worse. And Sparks, he has that Mamba mentality. You can see the way how he played against Hazelwood West. Whenever he caught a foul, he was kind of mad because he thought he was made the basket. But you can see right here, he has a whole lot of aggression.
Yeah, I mean, he's a underrated player on this team. I feel like he gets overlooked a lot when you have so many athletes. You know, you got those dual sport athletes. You tend to kind of remember those names. However, Donovan Sparks has been a huge part to this, and it looks like that's going to be a Crusaders ball, as it looks like they will take a timeout here. And, yeah, like I said, Donovan Sparks has really contributed a lot to this team. And, you know, you look at those dual sport athletes, which kind of you overlook Sparks. However, Sparks brings a lot of athleticism to the court.
Yeah, Sparks, he's, like you said before, he is very underrated. And not a lot of people try to recognize him as well on the court, but he makes his presence known. He made it known against DeSmet when he scored at least 15 points, which is the second highest on the team next to Booker Simmons.
Yeah, and that's against a DeSmet Spartans team, which is a very strong team. I mean, we saw him put almost 100 points against McClure North, and anytime a team can put 100 points against anybody, that says something about a team. They got an explosive offense and could be making some noise, absolutely. So we look to start this throw in here with 53.9 seconds remaining here from the Troy Buchanan third place game, as we are about to close in on an excellent competition here between St. Dominic Crusaders and France Howell Vikings. Schwindeman looks to throw it in to North. North to Schwindeman. Schwindeman finds. Schwindeman takes the ball. And that's a three. And Gabe James gets a defensive rebound. You don't see him under the basket too often, however. When you do, he usually comes up with the board. He's confident, like I said.
Oh, yeah. Most
Shoe to Donovan.
See, I don't see why St. Dominic's fouling right now. Honestly, if you're down like this, I would just, let them have it and just fight another day.
And then it looks like Lomax is going to get sent to the line here for two. Lomax 1 for 1 here on this trip. Lomax played a very well game, played his role perfectly, got a lot of good opportunities defensively and offensively, and was very effective from beyond the arc.
Oh, yeah. Lomax, he was a silent killer this whole game. Like you said before, a very huge asset to the Vikings team.
Sparks looks to throw it in. As that should do it here from Troy Buchanan High School. An absolutely hard-fought battle by both teams. St. Dominic would get within a big deficit and cut it down. And like you said, kind of kept us on our toes over here in the announcer booth. And a hard-fought battle. What did you see tonight from both teams?
Like I said, both play competitive, both play hard all the way to the final buzzer. But like I said before, Francis Howell is just a better team. They were able to outsmart St. Dominic, and just a whole lot of new faces we haven't heard from. Like we said before, Dwight Lomax and Kendall Gurley stepping up on defense and playing a role, especially Kendall Gurley playing a very aggressive in the second half, causing turnovers. And it was sad to see him go due to foul trouble, but it was great seeing Dwight Lomax staying in the paint and also just grabbing boards. We also see Jude James making some nice plays as well on defense. Tyler Gurley making baskets under the rim.
Absolutely, as the France Howell Vikings look to get their first piece of hardware on the year. Always good to start out a tournament with something coming home. Couldn't quite bring the big one home. However, a third place effort is an excellent opportunity, and just a great outlook here from the France Howell Vikings. A lot of positives to come out of this game. They put together an excellent first half, struggled in the third quarter, however, really came back and bounced back in the fourth quarter. And there's a lot of talent and a lot of athleticism on this team, and I'm excited to see what the regular season games look like, if the tournament games look like this. So I'm Michael Harvey here from Troy Buchanan High School with my partner Joshua Robinson. You just watched the third place game as the France Howell Vikings take home a trophy here from Troy Buchanan High School.